The Valkiri and its predecessor, the Bateleur, were designed according to the South Africans' combat experience in Southwest Africa and Angola. So, in many ways, they're unique multiple launch rocket systems, shortly MLRS. Today, we are investigating the Valkiri and Bateleur, the South African response to the BM-21 Grad. The Valkiri and Bateleur are among the legendary weapon systems of South Africa. Although they fire the same 127mm rockets, these MLRS are the children of entirely different tactical thoughts. The Valkyrie was one of the most trusted weapon systems of the South African Defense Force, SADF for short, in the War of Angola and Southwest Africa. The Bateleur is now an indispensable element of the South African National Defense Force, shortly SANDF. Before we move on, we would like to thank Dr. Dewald Finter, who allowed us to use some information from his book, South African Armored Fighting Vehicles, A History of Innovation and Excellence, and his article on the Tank Encyclopedia website. Many sources claim that the South African MLRS program started after 1975 Operation Savannah in Angola, where they faced the Soviet-made BM-21 Grad. However, Lieutenant Colonel Clive Woolsworth stated that South Africa had already begun to work on this type of weapon under Project Pharaoh in 1974 in his book First In, Last Out, The South African Artillery in Action. The SADF had realized the importance of a weapon system that would conduct saturation attacks on soft targets and counter-battery strike missions long since. But most likely, Operation Savannah accelerated the program. It was natural to prefer an indigenous artillery rocket development project for this country, which had dealt with a strict arms embargo due to apartheid policy since the 1960s. Also, there were no available MLRS systems in the West in those years, except the German Leichtes artillery Raketensystem, which was less capable than the BM-21. Arms Corps began the development of the new system, called Valkyrie, in 1977. Rather than copying the 122mm rockets of the Grad, South Africa preferred the 127mm one, which was the same caliber as the Kendron V3 air-to-air missile. It made the work easy due to the requirement of relatively minor modifications. The carrier platform of the Valkyrie was the Unimog 4x4 truck produced under license in South Africa. In 1981, the SADF took delivery of the first Valkyrie and used it during Operation Protea in the same year. But the first battery of the MLRS, also known as Viseren FB1 or Valkyrie 22 Mark I, became operational in 1982. The launchers of the Valkyrie, placed inside the truck bed, were being covered by a canvas in disguise when they were not in action. So, the Angolan and Cuban aerial reconnaissance sorties were not able to discriminate the MLRS from other logistic support trucks. It was a simple but highly efficient trick. This design was a practical solution in making it difficult to determine whether the SADF was preparing for a new offensive or just routinely delivering supplies and ammunition to the area. The Valkyrie could begin firing within 5 minutes after stopping. During the fire, a pair of hydraulic supports mounted at the rear stabilized the vehicle. A conventional artillery sight was mounted on the left side of the 22 tube launcher. It was stored in a container on the vehicle when not in use. The elevation and traverse mechanism was hydraulic. Its elevation angle was between 0 and 50 degrees, while the traverse angle was 110 degrees. There was a test circuit in the Valkyrie to check the rocket status and circuitry before firing. The crew could conduct firing from the cab or via a 50-meter plug-in cable connected to a remote control unit. The MLRS could launch the rockets either singly or in ripples of 2 to 24. Its rate of fire was 1 rocket per second. After completing its salvo, the Valkyrie could leave its position within 2 minutes, which increased the avoidance chance of counter battery fire. The reload took 10 minutes. As you may notice, we use the past tense. Even though this MLRS is still in inventory of the SANDF, all of them are stored. Considering the economic difficulties that South Africa has experienced for some time, we can predict that the Valkyries have not undergone proper checks for a long time and that they must undergo extensive refurbishment to be active again. According to Jane's Armor and Artillery, the Valkyrie has a 2-person crew. The MLRS has a length of 5.35 meters, a width of 2.3 meters and a height of 2.32 meters. Its weight is 6,400 kilograms. The 99 horsepower diesel engine provides a road speed of 90 kilometers per hour. Its range is 400 kilometers. The Valkiri can negotiate 0.35 meter vertical steps and can afford to a depth of 0.6 meters. Even before the Valkiri entered service, the SADF had already embraced mobile tactics. It was now avoiding frontal attacks on well-prepared defended positions and conducting surprise flanking attacks by confusing the enemy with continuous maneuvering. Also, the SADF was executing long-range raids against Swapo camps. Also, the Valkiri, with no ballistic and mine protection, had low endurance and poor off-road mobility for the job. So, South Africa began to work on a new MLRS, initially called Valkiri Mark II in 1985. Even though its prototype was ready in 1 year, this mobile artillery rocket system could not reach the serial production stage until 1989. But the following year, the South African Bush War ended. The new MLRS, now called Bateleur FB2 or just Bateleur, has a very different design from its predecessor. First of all, its carrier platform is the Kevefil 100, which is a Samuel 100 6x6 truck with a V-shaped armored cab. The other variants of the Kevefil 100, such as the Wetan's Field Recovery Vehicle, Waterwa Field Repair and Maintenance Vehicle, Zumla's self-propelled anti-aircraft gun are also in use of the sandf. Besides, unarmored Samuel 100 trucks are the backbone of the Army's truck fleet. So, this preference reduces the logistic burden. The armored cab is resistant to small arms, artillery splinters, and 3 TM57 landmines, which contain explosives equivalent to 21 kilograms of TNT. Compared to the Samuel 100, the Kevefil 100 has a strengthened chassis and suspension. Thanks to improvements in the diesel engine and transmission, it has 45% better traction and 90% better gradient ability than a standard truck version. Despite its greater mass than the Valkiri, the Bateleur has better mobility thanks to its 6-wheel drive and more powerful engine. The MLRS can go twice the range of its predecessor. Secondly, the Bateleur has a 40-tube launcher rather than the 22 one, which provides more firepower. Unlike the Valkiri, it has no canvas disguise feature. The MLRS is fitted with a sophisticated electronic navigation system, north-seeking equipment, a fire control system, and computer-controlled semi-automatic lane equipment. They improve accuracy. In 2007, the SANDF decided to equip the Bateleur with a new lane and navigation system, which would incorporate the latest computing systems and inertial navigation mechanism. The G5 and G6 will also have this system. The Bateleur can begin to fire within 1 minute after stopping. 2 hydraulically operated stabilizer jacks are lowered at the rear during the fire. The electro-hydraulically operated launcher is controlled via a joystick. There's a manual backup elevation traverse system on the vehicle. Its elevation angle is between 0 to 50 degrees, and it can traverse 90 degrees left and 19 degrees right depending on the elevation. The crew can conduct firing from the armored cab or via an optional remote handheld firing console. The Bateleur can fire 1 rocket every half a second, so the MLRS can complete its full salvo in 20 seconds. After completing its salvo, the Bateleur can leave its position within 2 minutes. Reload takes 7 to 10 minutes. A Kevefil 100 ammunition truck carrying 96 rockets accompanies each Bateleur. The launcher on a damaged or malfunctioned vehicle can be dismantled and refitted on another firing unit in about 4 hours. The Bateleur can carry rations, stores, and water required for a 14-day operational cycle. It has a 200-liter water tank underneath the crew compartment. The Bateleur has an off-road range of 500 kilometers and a speed of 30 kilometers per hour. The MLRS also has bush braking capability. It can be fitted with a 7.62mm machine gun on the cab. There is a firing port on each door. According to Jane's Armor and Artillery, the Bateleur has a 5-person crew. The MLRS has a length of 9.3 meters, a width of 2.35 meters, and a height of 3.4 meters. Its weight is 21,500 kilograms. The 315 horsepower Deutz Type FIOL 413 V10 diesel engine provides a road speed of 93 km per hour. Its range is 800 km. The Bateleur can negotiate 0.5 meter vertical steps and 0.5 meter trenches and can float to a depth of 1.2 meters. Some sources mention the Valkiri 5, also known as Valkiri Mark V, a variant with a shortened and lighter trailer mounted for airborne use. Since we couldn't find any visuals, we think that this project has remained a study. The 127mm standard rocket of the Valkiri and Bateleur has a maximum range of 22 km, depending on whether the spoiler rings are used. Each of its high explosive warheads contains 8,500 steel balls, which are effective against soft and semi-hard targets. A single rocket can create a kill zone of 1,500 square meters. The long-range 127mm rocket can go a distance of 37 kilometers, but it is understood that it never reaches the serial production stage. Some sources claim that Samchem, today Rheinmetall DNL Munition, stopped producing the 127mm rockets due to small production volumes and increased costs. They also assert that now the sandf is modifying its Bateleurs to fire Spanish-made 122mm rockets. But the Teruel MLRS fires 140mm rockets, and there is no known production line for 122mm ones in Spain. So we assume that this information is probably false. During the South African Bush War, the Valkyries 127mm rockets with a 22 km range had the advantage over the Grad's 122mm ones with a 20.4 km range. Due to its effectiveness, the SADF-backed UNITA nicknamed the MLRS Shindingu, meaning the red pepper that bites. In 1985, a single battery of the Valkyrie managed to destroy an entire FAPLA battalion while they were crossing a river. Yet, 2 years later, a small South African detachment using G5s and Valkyries could not prevent the Angolan brigades from crossing the Lombo River while supporting the UNITA forces. Still, with its devastating effect, the MLRS was a respectful adversary for Angolans and Cubans. They played an essential role in Operation Alpha Centauri and Operation Modulaire during the late 1980s. On the other hand, the Bateleur could not find a chance to prove itself in combat. Today, the South African 127mm artillery rockets and the MLRS which fire them are struggling for their survival against the economic situation in the country. The Valkyrie, once a war hero, is now forgotten in some storage facilities. The Bateleur still stands but faces the uncertainty of the future. Nevertheless, they have an undying place in the hearts of military enthusiasts as true legends. Thanks for watching our video, and please don't forget to subscribe to our channel and click the bell button to be notified of our new videos. Also, you can now click the join button to support our channel. And as always, we would greatly appreciate all of your likes, comments, and shares.